So it's all the way back in February 2019 when I created my first comic called The Warehouse. This is the comic right here. Ignore it why it says page 3 here. You'll find out why it says page 3 later on in this video. But this is me creating my first comic. It's only 6 pages long of what I believe at that moment in time in my life in February 2019, what a comic is to me, right? Like the layout and everything and all to do with the comic. I have no knowledge, right, about word balloons, about panel layouts, of storytelling, of camera angles and all this stuff, and everything to do with storytelling in the visual graphic novel format. I have no idea at this moment in time in my life during when I created this comic. So I'm going to go through and let's review this, right? Let's show you the mistakes I made, and then hopefully you'll see the progress I'm making, and then I'll also be sharing with you the books that have helped me to get way better, which actually helped me to create Tiger Dragon Rebirth and go for it, right? Go and create this amazing story and how to move forward. So let's go and review this really bad, because it is really bad, story. So the first panel here, we have a establishing shot, which is actually very good. I'm surprised I put an establishing shot here. So what the establishing shot is to establish where the location of this event that's happening. You got to have that, right? It's in every story. Just think about every movie you have, every TV program you watch, they always show like the outside of the building, or they show like a part of the building, or somewhere where this inside event is going to be taking place. They always do that. So that's crucial to storytelling, to get your reader to know where things are happening, right? So they can understand where this particular incident is taking place in this location. We can see here the characters, just barely here we can see the characters here. However, we can't see the rest of the establishing shot. It's all dark and gloomy. So that's really bad. I would definitely improve that, add some more lighting here. Even though it says here New York Industrial Estate, it's not enough, right? I think you need like a waterfront here or something, and you need some more buildings or something. So I definitely would improve that. This establishing shot is not great at all. So I definitely would improve in that area. So moving on here to the bottom panel here. This actually bottom panel here is, I have no idea about paneling at this moment in time. So this technically could be like 2 panels here. We could have like one panel here showing this character, and then we can have another panel here where this character here is looking in that direction, right? So we can basically have 2 panels here is what I would do. So here you can see the dialogue here. Are you ready for the mission? However, I don't like the pose here. The posing could be a lot better here. The posing here is really bad. I don't like the posing of this character or this character here. There's no expression on the face of this character as well, which is like, there's no expression. So if there's no expression, what is the meaning behind this dialogue, right? If that person's angry face, then this has an angry tone to the dialogue. At the moment, there's no tone here, so what is this dialogue meanings, right? The mouth should be open a bit anyway. Just show a bit of like they're talking, which is really what this should be, really what I would do with this situation. This dialogue here as well definitely needs to be changed as well in terms of the pause here. You don't need the 3 dots here. You could just have yes and then a comma, or yes and dot dot dot, and have another word balloon come out here, and then have this dialogue here in this word balloon here. That's what I should have done there. And also because it's pointing down like this, right? That's the page turn. I'm kind of like showing my reader to turn the page here, so definitely would have it pointing down that way to turn the page and carry on with the story. So generally lack of expression as well on this character's face as well, and lack of expression there, and the pose. So that's what I would do there for this particular page. Let's move on to the next page. Now on this page here, we actually have panels, which is surprising to me. So we have one panel here, one panel there, which is surprising to me because obviously I didn't know anything about storytelling back in February 2019. So I'm surprised I have 2 panels there. However, what I've done here is in these 2 panels, what I've done is been very lazy. This is the truth, right? I've been very lazy. If I go back here, see these characters' expressions here and this one here. When I go back to this page here, you will notice the expressions and the pose are exactly the same. Why is that? Because I've basically just taken this image here and placed it in this and stretched it out to show this character, and then placed the same image here and then stretched it out just to show this character as well. So that's very lazy by me. So I'm not happy with that. It just goes to show that I wasn't thinking correctly about storytelling at all in this moment in time. So I don't like that. So that really irks me that I was lazy there, because that's something I am definitely not now, which is definitely not lazy. I try my hardest to make sure, or even try my best to make sure that each panel is moving forward, is telling a cohesive story. So I really do work on that now. So again, we don't have no expression here. I don't like this. Is why the expression is just like lack of expression. There's just nothing there, no emotional content there, as Bruce Lee said. There's no emotion to this. So how do we know the tone of this dialogue here? And I'm happy with the dialogue there. I'm only here as backup. That's fine. And again, no tone here, no expression here as well. Sorry. So what is this? What is this dialogue all about here? How is this character feeling? Okay. So definitely would improve that there for those two panels. Now this bottom panel here, there's a lot of mistakes in here. So one of the mistakes I have made is this dialogue, the way it's positioned, right? So I didn't understand how you read a dialogue. So the way you read dialogue is that you read this dialogue first and then you read this one. So if I read this dialogue first, after that I'm coming in, I'm going to give you 20 minutes to get the intel. That doesn't make sense, okay? This dialogue needs to be first and that dialogue comes second here. So I've made a mistake there. I didn't know how dialogue works. So that is definitely something I would just swap over, put that one there and put this one here because that's how you read it. And then this dialogue here, I will change that as well. I'll probably just get rid of the 20 minutes here and just I'll do it in 15 to show her overconfidence, right? That she thinks she's better and that she could do it in 15 minutes or whatever this task is that she needs to do. We kind of look like we have some sort of expression here. It looks like we have some sort of expression, so I'm quite surprised with that. And we have some expressions here as well, which I'm quite surprised with that as well. Again, a lot of changes, yes, that need to be made to make this story a little bit better, right? I'm not going to do a complete overhaul of this story, but definitely some improvements from what I've learned from the knowledge that I have right now, okay? So those are the kind of changes I would make. Moving on to this page here, we have one big problem here with this page is how did we go from this here to this here, right? What happened in between? There's a massive jump here, like a huge jump in terms of storytelling. Like these two were talking a page ago and next page, this one's in trouble. What happened? Okay. So that's just very bad storytelling. You're asking the reader to do too much imagination to find out how they ended up here. So what did this character do in order to get in this situation? How did she fail? How did she get caught, right? These are all the questions the reader's asking right now. And I haven't given the reader any information to show how she got caught. So that's very bad storytelling. So I would definitely change this. I would show how she got caught. And we could have done that in a couple of panels, right? To show how she got caught because she's overconfident with her abilities and she gets caught. That's fine, right? And I haven't shown that. So that's just very bad storytelling. So the dialogue here is fine as well. What are we going to do with her? The boss said she's on her way to kill her and not to... The boss said he's on the way and not to kill her. That's fine. That's okay. So happy with that. And then this one here, this bottom panel here, we have this character here. However, we don't know where this character is, okay? We don't know in relation to where this character is in terms of positioning, right? How did this character get into the warehouse and where is their position located according to this, right? So the reader, I'm asking the reader to do a lot of work, like where's the positioning? So like, for example, if you had a layout of the room, so let's say you have these three characters, 1, 2, and 3, right? These three characters. And then this one here is over here. How do we know where this character is? We don't know where the character is in relation to these three characters here. We don't know, right? I'm asking the reader to do a lot here. That's very, very bad storytelling. So that's something I would definitely think about changing is like, okay, I've got to show how this character gets into the warehouse and where they are in relation to this character. It's very important positioning of characters so the reader doesn't get lost. So I didn't know that, right? I know that now because of all the work I've done, all the books I've read. So that's definitely something I improve. And this picture looks very odd here now. So the dialogue here as well, we finally get to know, damn it, Emily, what have you got yourself into? So we know the character's name is Emily now. This character's name now is Emily. What was that? 3 pages in? 2 pages in rather. We know the character's name now is Emily. Okay, maybe we should have done that earlier. We need to like find out what the names of characters are. So maybe we should get that a lot earlier into the story. The expression here is not too bad, right? She's kind of concerned look on her face. I would probably work on that expression there. So there's quite a bit of improvements that need to be done with this page, and definitely this needs to be expanded. So this obviously needs to be broken down into panels, actual panels, so we can tell stories. So this should be, so a 6-panel page would be fine here. So 1 there, 2, 3, 4, right, and then 5 and 6, right? Let's just keep it simple. And you could tell the story, how she got caught here, what she was doing, how she got caught, and then this person here coming into this panel here, so we know where she's in relation to everybody else, and where the story is coming, right? So we can see a cohesive story. So that's a lot to do with that page because I'm asking a lot of the reader to do the work for me there, and that's not very good storytelling at all. So a lot of improvements need to be done with that page. So moving on to the next page, we have this very large panel. Now forgive me for this. This large panel here is what is known as a splash page that you would use for. So a splash page is something you would use for a great dramatic effect. This is not worthy of a splash page. This is really bad, right? So forgive me for that. I definitely would not be using this kind of panel for a regular comic like this. This will never happen right now because obviously I understand what the reason for a splash page is. That's very bad, first of all. Now, second of all, the dialogue here on the right hand side for this person is supposed to speak first, and it's also in the incorrect order again. This is supposed to be spoken first, then this is supposed to be spoken second. So this is actually supposed to go here, and then this is supposed to happen next, right? This is the next dialogue, and then this happens next. This person here doesn't need to speak. I would definitely just remove that dialogue. This isn't required, right? Because you can see the action here. So that's the changes I would make if I kept the panel the same, if I kept this page the same, which I wouldn't. Then we have the artwork here. So we have artwork issues. The hair over here, what is that all about there? This here as well needs to be much improved in terms of the way he's holding the hair. So definitely could work on that with the skills I have now. We need more expression here from this character here. And this expression here from this character here, we have this problem here with the artwork as well here, which is on the forehead here. But this expression here as well, this character, she's not even looking at any of the characters. She should be looking at one of them if she's saying, let go of me here. So the expression is right to the anger, but the eyes should really be looking into one of these characters. Probably the one that's talking to her here, really. And we need to see some more, in terms of the posing of this character, we need to see some more like heavy-handedness from this character. So let me remove some of these lines here. Heavy-handedness from this character here. So I want to see, like, you know, this person should be in dire straits, in like, you know, uh-oh, I'm about to get cut open by this person with a knife, wielding a knife here. You can't even see the knife here, just barely you can see the knife here. Barely see the thin blade here of the knife. We should see this person really terrified, or at least, you know, definitely in terms of like showing that this person's under a lot of like degree of stress or something. And we definitely need to work on the kind of emotional value of this, or the emotional aspect of this panel here. So that definitely needs to be worked on. Much improved. It needs to be much improved with this. Moving on to the next page here. Again, on this page, I've been very lazy here again. Let me show you why. If we go back to this panel here, what I've done is just taken this artwork here from this page here and just put it into each of these panels here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've just stretched the page, right? So stretch the page just to include those areas of the characters that I need. Very lazy again. I'm very annoyed at that actually, because that's not how I am now. Like I said, I'm always thinking about how each panel looks and what the right way to tell a story is. So that's very lazy of me then. I don't like that. So that, again, that shows my laziness, which is good. That shows progress, because it shows progress to me now because I don't do that anymore, right? I've learned from my lesson, so that's good. So panel 1, we have this clang sound. So that's okay. I mean, we have a sound effect here. Probably could show where that clang effect came from. So again, I'm asking the reader to do a lot of imagination here and disbelief in terms of like, where did that clang come from? Who did what, right? So I'm asking the reader again to do too much filling in the gaps. I'm asking the reader to do too much of filling up the gaps here. So that definitely needs to be improved. I need to be showing the other character who was hiding behind the boxes, showing them throwing something, and then the clang sound happens. That would have been a lot better. Again, the artwork here, because it's the same picture from the previous panel here, that needs to be improved here. What was that? That's fine. The dialogue is fine here. The dialogue here sounds like you boys have a visitor. That dialogue's fine as well. However, the expression is not, because it's the same expression. So obviously that will need to be changed. It should be different, right? And then here, Rico, go check it out. So now we know that this character's name here is Rico. Again, we could improve the panel here. The panel layout, obviously, for all 4 of these need to be improved. So in terms of storytelling, it's okay, but it's asking a lot for the reader to do it. And again, it's laziness, because I've just reused the same artwork I had in the previous panel. So that's very lazy, and I'm not happy with that laziness at all. On to the next page now. We have some panels here, some different panels here, which is quite surprising actually. So it's a different panel shapes here. And again, what I've done here as well, I can see right now, is I have taken the artwork I created for this panel here and used it in this panel, and then used it in this panel here as well. So again, I've been lazy and I thought, you know what, if I just create one big artwork and just take out the bits I need and put them here in terms of the panels. So I've just basically done one big render, because as you can imagine, there's one big render with this character behind, so it's like a big render. So if you could just think about this, this is the big render here, over here. And I've just done one big render, and then all I've done is just put the artwork into this panel, stretched it out just to put this character's face, put the artwork into this panel, stretched it out just to have this character here, put the artwork in this panel and stretch it out to put this character here. Very lazy, right? That's very lazy. I don't like that. So again, I've just noticed that now. That's not very good in terms of telling a cohesive story. It's been very lazy. You know, you're not moving the camera angle around. You're not making it interesting for the reader. So it's all straight on the camera angle as well. So definitely something you need to improve on there. On panel 1 here, again, the dialogue is wrong again. This is supposed to be said first here, and then this dialogue is supposed to be said next. That needs to be changed over here. Probably have the character here with his mouth open and a bit more nefarious kind of like expression here, because, and probably better showing more of his body expression as well. Like, look, it's just you and me now, and he's like, you know, getting to be a bit more serious in terms of like, just you and me. So tell me the truth, right? Why are you here? This character here is sneaking up on this one here. It's not shown very well. Again, the pose here is not very good. However, the dialogue's fine. Just keep him busy. That's fine. I'm happy with that. The expression needs to be better as well. This panel here could actually be an inset panel. So you could have imagined like we have like a panel here. It could be like a wide panel here. And then this could have been an inset panel here, right? Over here. Showing this character sneaking up here. Or we could have had it into 2 here. So we could have had like... So we could have had 1 panel here and then 2 here. So we could have done that, right? So we show this and then the actual her sneaking up here. That probably would have been better. This third panel is fine, right? This character's still stuck in the chair, still strapped to it. And she says, go to hell, that's fine. We could have possibly turned the camera around and shown her expression to give more emotional context to this dialogue here. And then the fourth panel here, we have this character here who is basically choking this person out. Again, this dialogue here is supposed to be first, so this one should have been higher up, right? Higher up here, because we read left to right. So when we have dialogue, it's left to right. So you read from the left to the right. In English comics, you read left to right. In manga, you read right to left. So that's different. This dialogue is supposed to be higher up, and then this is supposed to be lower down to show how you read it. This actually expression is not too bad. I'm happy with that expression. That expression is fine as well. And I probably would have shown a bit more struggle here. So I probably could have put this into maybe 2 or 3 panels. So we could have had like 1 panel here of this showing this here, showing this. She's kind of strangling him. And then second panel here showing a bit more of the struggle, but now he's feeling like weaker now in this panel here. And then maybe a third one, if I wanted to dramatize it a bit more, is to show him on the floor now. And this character is like basically he's basically on the floor with him, right? So she's basically choked him out on the floor here. We could have done that if we wanted to, or we could have just gone from here to here, right? We could have skipped this one here. So we could have skipped that one in the middle and just gone from there to there to kind of dramatize this, show a bit more of the struggle, okay? Show like, okay, it's not that easy to choke this person out because they're a bit more stronger, but they managed to do it anyway. On to the last page now here. We have this dialogue here. Why didn't kill him? That doesn't make any sense, right? So obviously I didn't proofread it when I was doing this comic here. I didn't read through the dialogue. So one of the key skills is when you are writing dialogue, read through it. So literally go read through it. It doesn't matter if somebody else is around, you read through that dialogue, because when you read it out aloud, you will catch words that you missed or words that are misspelt. You will catch that, oh, this dialogue doesn't sound like this character. Why am I writing this dialogue? This is not how this character speaks. And then you'll catch that. You'll go, okay, they don't use this word. They would say in this way. And then you can redo the dialogue, right? So that's why it's very important to speak out the dialogue when you write it. And then you speak out the dialogue in the way that character talks. And you're like, hold on a minute. Does this character talk like this? Yes or no? And then you'll pick up the missed words here, which I do miss, right? We all miss words. That's fine. Even in the emails I sent, I miss words. But because I read them out, I've read them out aloud, I'm able to pick up on those errors that I make. So again, why didn't kill him? It's supposed to be why didn't you kill him? So that's needs to be changed there, the dialogue. So over here where it says we don't kill, it's who we are. In time you will understand that dialogue's fine. I will probably split this into 2 panels. So 1, 2 here. And then I would have like this portion of the dialogue here, all this kind of like bit in this section here. And then in this section, I would have this here, right? I would have this dialogue here, and then she would have moved on to the second rope here, right? To untie that rope. Speaking of untying the rope, if you have a look at the rope here, it's actually very loose here. So that's not very good the way I've done that. I never thought about that. Never put thought into when I was creating this comic. Like, look at this rope here, it's loose. You can literally get out of it, right? So I need to work on that. Again, the expressions here, there's no expressions here. There's no expression here. She's not even looking at this character when she's speaking. So we need to definitely would fix that there. On the bottom panel here, these word balloons are in the wrong position. So here where it says, I really messed up, that should come first. So this dialogue needs to be further like here, or at least further up here, higher up, right? Because we read left to right. So if this was higher up here, something like this, and this dialogue was over here at the bottom, this dialogue should be over at the bottom. So you would go left, read that, and then come down, and then read that, right? That's how it works. So you would start here, and you go, okay, that's the first dialogue to read, and then come down here, and then read that one. So this should have been at the bottom here, this dialogue. And one of the problems with this page here is a passage of time. So how is this person still untying the same knot here? There's no passage of time with these 2 panels here. So the passage of time in terms of what's happening is very bad in terms of moving the story forward. So really this character should be on the second one by now, the second rope. And again, the rope here is slightly better. It's slightly looser. You can see there's a bit of air there. So we'll definitely fix that there. So this character here should be on the second panel. Should definitely be working on the rope here on this panel here. They should have done that by now to move passage of time. This is too slow, right? We're moving far too slow. We need to move the story forward. So that's something I needed to work on in terms of passage of time, in terms of what's happening, how the story is moving, the pacing of the story, so to speak. So that's my review of the Warehouse comic that I created all the way back in February 2019. Only 6 pages, but a lot of changes need to be made, and it's not a very good story. Let's be honest, it's rubbish. This is unacceptable from where I am right now in 2024. That standard that I have for my stories is really high, so that would not pass the bar whatsoever. I would have to go and rewrite it again and change a lot of things. So that's the review of that one done there. Let's move on to the next review